Hello, class. Yeah, now I'm streaming and the light is on my face. So let me position myself in a way that, yeah, this is better. Okay, so hope you had a good weekend. Hope you had a nice Halloween break. If you did do anything, um, I um, I was busy. I just wanted to chat with you a little bit, and then we can talk about the work, right? I don't get to, we I would have loved to chat with you in person a little bit before the beginning of the class, but we don't get to do that. So I just thought of sharing a few things that kind of makes me just not an instructor, a little more than that, and so that you're able to relate to me, know me a little bit more, and I would love to hear from you as well. Okay, so yeah, so my weekend was good. I had a family event on Friday, so yeah, it's usually family events these days. It's just in the immediate family, and it's always all my family events has a lot of food. I'm a big foodie, and I love cooking, and I love feeding my family, and my everybody in my family loves eating. So yeah, so that happened on Friday. On Saturday, which was Halloween, I my kids told me that that they don't want to buy any costumes this year. So I was good with that. So I said, okay, fine. I don't need to do anything. Till my daughter at the last minute told me that she wants to uh, get a costume. So I actually had to, on Saturday morning, we went to Party City to get a costume for her. And I thought it was going to be really, really chaotic there, but it seemed pretty organized. And there wasn't a whole lot of people. I thought that we're not going to get anything there, but she did get what she actually thought about it there, what she wanted. So she picked and chose what she wanted there. So yeah, so that day after that we made a trip to the dollar store. We got like the sword for her, and my son and both of us, my son and myself, we hand painted it for her, kind of to make it look scary. It was blank, and then she wanted to be a bloody nurse, and got this outfit for her. And we put in a little bit of blood here, like red paint to make it more real. So yeah, so that was it, and I was pretty surprised to see the amount of candies that they got. I thought because of COVID, they not a whole lot of people will be doing this, but it I was proven wrong because they did actually they got more than last year. So yeah, so that's that for me. Would love to know what you did for Halloween. If if you're watching this, and I'm going to put this link on your discussion forum, and I've also asked you to share a little bit about how was Halloween, what did you do during this weekend, a little bit of chatting regarding that, and then you start answering the questions. Okay. So I haven't, to give you an update, I was checking in on Go React, and I was looking at around 5 o'clock. I checked and saw submissions coming in for your profile speech on Saturday. Actually, didn't check anything on Sunday as yet. So today I will, after I finish recording this video for you, I will start looking at your speeches. I'm going to get myself a cup of coffee, relax, and watch and see your speeches, hear your speeches. So that's the plan. So once I'm done, I will let you know once I post the grades. And again, it's going to be the same thing when you watch your video, and then you're going to have a video comment by me. All right. So that's that. So now we embark on a new chapter for our upcoming uh, for this week. Actually, not upcoming, for this week. And I'm just going to share this the schedule with you just to show where we are. I always like to look at the schedule. I'm just going to yeah, I'm going to put that on screen share. Here we go. Okay. fully online. Yes, this is my fully online class. All right, so here we are. This is the week of, this is the election week, right? So this is, we are here in this week. We are already, we just started the class and we start week 3. We're already in week 3 and we just have about 5 more weeks to go. So yeah, so we will cover in the next 2 weeks, we will cover as much as possible on informative speeches. This will be by far also one of the most one of the forms of speech that you will have to, you'll see that you will be using this kind of speech. The informative purpose in your speech will be very pronounced, very defined, and you will be using these kind of speeches in your real life. If it could be a presentation that you need to do at work, it could be a sales projection, it could be informing the staff or informing your team about a new idea. I think this is going to be a very relevant speech for you. Okay, and the next two, again, as I mentioned, week 3 and week 4, we will be talking about the different strategies of informative speeches and what you need to do, what are the things you need to learn, all of that. Okay, so just to give you give you an idea about where we are on the schedule, we are here week 3, and in week 4, so there's no like a graded, as in like a one of those graded speeches. You have an assignment, but that's going to be different than the one that we have. How many speeches do we have for you guys? One, actually, forget this one. I should profile, informative, and profile, informative, persuasive, and your last one is argumentation and debate. Out of those 4 ones, the 4 speeches, this is going to be an informative speech. Okay, the next one after this one is going to be a persuasive speech. So we are prepping for an informative speech. So these 2 weeks we're going to be doing that, and the purpose of this video is to talk about your next speech, so that you get a heads up on the speech and you start preparing for it. So today, and your next speech is basically your informative speech, not your next speech, but your informative speech is going to be due on, yeah, I'm right. So it's due on November 15th. It's due on November 15th. So you have roughly about 2 weeks from today. Okay. So just wanted to let you know that, and I'm now going to talk about what you need to do for the speech. Okay. So here I will be showing and presenting a slide for you, and then we will be talking about it. Okay. So I'm going to now stop sharing this one. And you know what, I'll just I'll show it from your, that'll be easier for you. So let me see, I'll show it from your Blackboard site itself. All right, so share screen. Here we go, share screen. Yeah, so I'm here currently on your Blackboard site class, and you can see that we are already, I'll just show it to you. Week 1 and week 2 are all closed because we don't need to use it anymore. So it's hidden from your view, you cannot see it. And I didn't want to clutter it anymore, so I just want to keep it easy. So this only discussion forum that will be visible to you now is week 3. All right, so once you click week 3 discussion forum, it will take you here, and once you click this, you get two posts from me. All right, so here we go. We're going to talk about the upcoming speech. Here, once you click this, you'll see my question here, and I've asked you to do a few things. I'm going to add one more thing here. Would like to know how was your weekend and what did you do? A little bit of that on your discussion post as well. Okay, and then yeah. So once you see there are 2 posts from me, you'll see you have to click the PowerPoint here. I've put it here as well for you, but I've put it on the discussion forum as well. So, and what you will see is I will make a video. I'll make 2 videos today, and I might make another one, but I will make a video which is relevant to your upcoming informative speech, and I'll post the link here. Okay, so you should see a link. So once you click this this PowerPoint presentation, this will take you to this. All right, here we go. So this is the upcoming informative speech. It is 200 points. All right, you have 200 points for this. And this is again, I'll just say 200 points. I'm going to try type here, 200 points and due by November 15th. All right, you get the details, but I just wanted to write it down for you. So what do we have here? What are we going to do? So this is what I'm going to tell you. Before I show you this, let me just talk to you about it. So I'm going to stop sharing. And so the informative speech class is a transformational project. Okay, so in other words, this assignment has been created to make a change in your life. Okay, it's a project that will create some kind of a change, maybe little, maybe quite a lot, you never know. Okay, but you got to do this whole experiment. You're going to run this experiment on yourself. All right, so this is what you need to do for the next 2 weeks, class. So it will start from today. All right, from November 2nd to November 15th, you're going to run an experiment for yourself. Think about it as a challenge. Okay, like you have these 30-day challenge or the 22-week challenge of doing something, and motivating yourself. You've heard about that. So consider this as something like that, where it's a 2-week 14-day challenge. Okay, and the challenge is basically going to make some kind of a change in your life. So the way I conceived this assignment is I thought I've given you examples here. Basically, each and every example that you see will make some change in your life and the world in general. Kind of make some changes, looking at the world in a different way. Okay, so I'm going to share that. It's a 2-week challenge, and you have to adopt a particular behavior for 2 weeks. Okay, so I'm going to show you what you need to do now. I'm just going to go to the screen. I'm going to do screen share here, and I'm going to here. So this as I mentioned to you, this is a learning and growing. This is a learning growing challenge. You learn through this assignment, you grow through this assignment, and it kind of brings some kind of transformation in your life. Okay, so it is it's measurable. It is a actionable behavioral change that you are going to make in 14 days. The experiment, as you can see, it will run for 2 weeks from November 2nd to November 15th. You can do this by yourself, or you can, because this is on the discussion post, and I've asked you all to respond to some of the questions there. I want to know what challenge you've chosen. You'll see that maybe your classmates, maybe some of your, let's say Abdul and Sebastian, work on the same challenge. And well, if they work on the same challenge, this is what I've encouraged you to do. You can have a buddy system where you can, you don't have to feel lonely during your challenge. You can bounce off each other. You don't have to do, it's not a group project, as in like you work on one, as in like it's like mandatory for you to get somebody and work on the same challenge together. No, I conceive that this as more of a you do your own work, you tell me your own experience. But if you need somebody to talk to, okay, not like somebody who's doing the same thing. Like if you want to say that, this is the struggle that I'm facing, or just bounce off ideas, talk to each other. If you want somebody to with whom you could discuss this project, you could. Okay, so that's what I've said. It's not mandatory for you to get somebody, but if you want, you can see from this discussion post here, you'll see that, some of you may be doing the same thing. So if you want to, do a little privately, you can talk to each other and say that, why don't we touch base with each other, motivate each other. Choice. I haven't seen that in my, I haven't seen a lot of students doing that, but I've seen, especially with our discussion, because we would have discussions in every class when this project was run. Those students who were doing the same project would kind of, it would be helpful for them to know about, how each other's project is going. So, all right. So here now I talked a lot about, what this project, what the idea behind this project is. Now let me give you the main part of the main examples. What kind of challenge can you take? Here I'm going to the next slide. So here we are. So this is the kind of challenges that you can take. Let's say you want to listen to speakers. That's one my favorite one. So I wanted to talk about it because that's my favorite. Okay, so if you tell me that Dr. Sen, I would like to talk about or I would like to listen to different to speakers' ideas and thoughts every day with of speakers who are social influencers or or politicians who I do not agree with. You have to, for 2 weeks, I'm going to listen to people, listen to ideas, listen to politicians, listen to social media influencers who I do not agree with. Okay. And then after 2 weeks, you'd come and tell me how your experiment was. Did it make any change in your position? Did it affect you negatively? What do you think? How did it, how do you perceive yourself before and now? How do you perceive yourself now? Okay, so that is one of my favorite ones, but you can do any of these. Okay, so I've given you some examples. If you want to try hiking, because we it is important for us to do these things, especially now when we are not going outdoors as much. Hiking could be therapeutic. You could think about writing a journal. That's also therapeutic. A lot of if you think about this, a lot of psychologists and sociologists have said that writing a journal every day, it could be therapeutic, and and research has also shown to some extent that it can prevent teen suicide. So so that, how do you, if you want to talk about if you want to write a journal for 2 weeks and tell us how it went, okay? It could be reading 5 articles from the newspaper. Literacy is such a big thing, to be informed, to know what we are talking about, to know, especially with voting, to know, to know what issues we stand for, and to understand who is leading that, who's leading our voices, or how do we kind of critically read things? What is the difference between facts and opinion? I think that if you read 5 articles from newspapers every day, that's a good starting point. So if you do that, all right, from every day, it's a 2-week challenge, right? So every day for 2 weeks, you do that. Okay, read 5 articles. So you can choose any. I'm not going over all of them, but these are the choices. Then it's being thought about, and there's thought gone for every challenge that I have written here, and see which one is a good fit for you. Which one do you think you need to do kind of make yourselves better? Or if you think about something that you need to do, which could be maybe therapeutic, maybe you need to do this because you're interested, you're curious. So you can take up any of these, okay? Any one, and then do it for 2 weeks. So your informative speech is going to be about that. It's going to be about this challenge that you have taken for the next 2 weeks, okay? So in your informative speech, this is what you would have to talk about, okay? And we're going to learn much more than, I'm just the starting point, and we're going to I'm going to talk to you about much more about how do you arrange yours. How do you think about informative speech? What are the things? How do you arrange your speech? What are the strategies that you need to have? We're going to talk all about that. Don't worry about it. But when you think about how do you frame this whole experience that you're going to have for 2 weeks, the challenge that you're taking up, how do you frame that as an informative speech? This is what you're going to, and I'm not going to, these are going to be your talking points, all right? Not all of them will be helpful to you when you're doing your speech, but I think these talking points is a good place for you to even start thinking about this project. So I would first like to know why did you choose this challenge? I want to know, out of the so many, I think I give you 9 or 10, out of these so many examples, why did you choose this particular challenge? Let's say you chose to, call your friends and family more often, for every day, once a day, every day you do that. Or let's say you just wanted to hear stories of positivity, stories of resilience, stories of hope every day. Why? I want to know, why did you choose that topic? Okay, so then what do you think you have to, you've got to respond to these questions in the discussion forum. What do you think will be the most difficult thing? What do you think, like when I take up a challenge class, when I think about any challenge, I think about what would be some of the places or some of the challenges that I can have while I'm doing this challenge that will not enable me to finish the challenge successfully. Okay. For example, if I think that I am going to take part in the marathon in the next 3 months, okay, I know that there's some challenges. I know that I'm working, I have a family. I don't know how much time I will have in the morning or not only in the morning, throughout the day to kind of practice. I know that I have a nagging knee issue. So I don't know whether that's going to get triggered by running, if I again start running. I know that I'm not in the best shape right now in terms of stamina and energy. So I might just get tired. So these are certain things that I know these are my challenges, but if I'm really motivated to do that, I will figure out a way to answer these challenges. So what do you think when you take up a challenge? You may be thinking about, what are the things that can push you off or kind of be an obstacle for your challenge. So you got to tell me, what do you think could be some of the challenges in your way to complete this project, right? And then you got to tell me the third question that you need to answer in this discussion post here is what do you think will be, if you take this challenge and you know why you've taken this challenge, what do you think will be some of the changes in your behavior? How will it change your behavior? Okay, so these are the 3 questions you need to answer, and then this is going to be an ongoing project class. These are the 3 questions that you need to answer for your discussion forum post. Okay, so if you look at your discussion forum, I'm again going to do a little bit of screen share. Here we go. I just did the same thing. Wait 1 second. Yeah, here you go. So if you look at your discussion forum, I've already have this question. I'm going to add one more little bit about how you guys are doing. Please respond to that, how you are doing. What did you do for Halloween? All right, I'm going to add that part. But just hit reply and respond to these questions. Why did you choose this challenge? What do you anticipate to be the most, difficult thing about this behavioral change? What obstacles do you think you might encounter? What do you see as a result of this challenge? How do you see yourself what kind of changes do you think you will have after this project gets done? So you need to respond to these questions here, hit the reply button, and then respond to these questions. And then look at the post of your classmates and then hit respond to at least 2 of your classmates. The response should not be very general, as in, I think this is a good thing, or this is a smart thing. I think it needs to be more than just a good or bad or nice or interesting. It needs to be why. Why do you think it is? Did your class make a good point? Back it up. Why do you think? Provide your reason, and then maybe open up the discussion to further questions. Okay, so that you can go back and forth with each other. Okay. So, all right. So now I am going to stop sharing this one and go back to our slide. Yeah. So I think I covered most of the questions. These are the 1 second here. I don't think I shared this one with you guys. Okay. So I kind of talked to you about the first three here. I'll talk to you about the first three, and then why these are the three, these questions. Once you start working on this challenge, then you'll be able to answer these questions. So you don't need to answer it now, but I will be asking you these questions next week. Okay. So I want to know how well you've been, how have you been doing meeting this challenge? What's your progress thus far? So I would like to know that next week. And what is, while your project is going on, what was the most challenging thing? And, did you face any kind of changes in your, do you see any kind of changes? Have you become a more positive person? Have you become a more critical person? I mean, whatever the changes, whatever have you become, if you've done the experiment going green, you've become a much more resourceful person. Just tell me what changes did you see in your behavior as a result of this 2-week challenge that you took. Okay, so moving on, I think I covered pretty much, I've covered pretty much everything here. All right. So what I'll do, class, just to kind of augment this further, I will show you a speech, okay? And this is what I want you to do is again, I'm going to kind of show you like a sample speech. The speech that I'm going to show you is not a 5-minute speech. It's about a 7 to 8 minute speech. So I tried to kind of make it short in terms of I kind of did editing and I got the transcript of the speech and I kind of made it short and I kind of have it for you. And I want to share it with you right when I'm doing this presentation here. So this, so remember, even your informative speech that you're going to do is a 5-minute speech, okay? So it is, okay, now I'm going to write it here. It is a 5-minute speech, all right? All your speeches, class, by the way, it's a 5-minute, 5-minute speech, okay? So, so this is what I'm going to do is I will show you the speech video right now, a sample one. And it's as I mentioned to you, it's not a 5-minute speech video. It is about maybe an 8 minutes, 7 to 8 minutes. It's a TED Talk. It's a TED Talk, and I found this helpful. So you've got to think about it as if you had to do that in 5 minutes, you just think about it, because I've edited some of the content. And it's an interesting speech because it talks about this one person who leads a very busy life, and he decides that he is going to take a 1 second, even a 1 second video of his life every day. So I don't think he has a 2-week project like you guys, a 2-week challenge that you guys are doing, but he kind of, it's a long challenge, a kind of everlasting challenge that he takes up. But it's an interesting experiment. The reason that I chose this for you is that because he decides to run an experiment on himself, like just the way you will be doing. You will be taking up a challenge for 2. Only difference is that yours will end in 2 weeks. Here, his doesn't end in 2 weeks. It's like a lifelong thing that he does. So he decides in his life, he's very busy. He has a busy job somewhere. I think maybe it's in New York. I don't remember, but So he decides to film at least 1 second of his life every day. Okay, and the reason why he does it, how he does it, is all explained in this TED Talk. Okay, so I just found it interesting. So when you will be telling me your story, whatever challenge you have taken up, it could be going green, it could be listening to speakers or thoughts or ideas who you do not agree with for 2 weeks, it could be thinking positive for the 2 weeks. It could be any of those challenges. You're going to tell me in a story, just like you would do storytelling. How did about your whole project? If you think about storytelling, and this is an informative speech, and you're going to use the method of storytelling as your speech, how would you do that? I think so. This kind of gives you a good idea. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you right now there. So I'm actually in your site, and I will, 1 second here. Yeah, I'm almost there. Yeah, I have it here. 1 second. I'm almost there, class. I'm just going to show you the video here. Pause it just to start. Okay, so I'm here and I'm going to do screen share. This is how, okay, so I told you that's about, yeah, it is not a 5-minute speech. All of you have to do a 5-minute speech. This is a 7-minute, 47-second speech, almost an 8-minute speech, but I have, I'm going to share that with you. I've kind of created an outline for the speech just to help you, just to show you, how much I've taken out a few things from this speech. And shown you that this is what you can achieve. He also does, just to again reiterate what I just said, just like you will be doing a 2-week challenge, this person does a kind of a lifelong, almost a lifelong challenge. Okay, and his challenge is to take at least a 1-second video of his life every day. Now he tells you why he does it, how he does it, and what are the effects of of him doing this. What changes did it bring in his life? So I'm going to share this right now. I am going to go here, screen share, and turn this on.
So I'm an artist. I live in New York, and I've been working in advertising ever since I left school, so about 7, 8 years now. And it was draining. I worked a lot of late nights. I worked a lot of weekends, and I found myself never having time for all the projects that I wanted to work on my own. And one day I was at work and I saw a talk by Stefan Sagmeister on TED. It was called The Power of Time Off. And he spoke about how every 7 years he takes a year off from work so he could do his own creative projects. And I was instantly inspired. And I just said, I have to do that. I have to take a year off. I need to take time to travel and spend time with my family and start my own creative ideas. So the first of those projects ended up being something I called 1 second every day. Basically, I'm recording 1 second of every day of my life for the rest of my life. Chronologically compiling these 1 second tiny slices of my life into one single continuous video until, I can't record them anymore. The purpose of this project is, one, I hate not remembering things that I've done in the past. There's all these things that I've done with my life that I have no recollection of, unless someone brings it up, and sometimes I think, oh yeah, that's something that I, did. And something that I realized early on in the project was that if I wasn't doing anything interesting, I would probably forget to record the video. So the first time that I forgot, it really hurt me, because it's something that, I really wanted to, from the moment that I turned 30, I wanted to keep this project going until, forever. And having missed that 1 second, I realized it just kind of created this thing in my head where I never forgot ever again. So if I live to see 80 years of age, I'm going to have a 5-hour video that encapsulates 50 years of my life. When I turn 40, I'll have a 1-hour video that includes just my 30s. This has really invigorated me day to day when I wake up to try and do something interesting with my day. Now, one of the things that I have issues with is that as the days and weeks and months go by, time just seems to start blurring and blending into each other. And, you know, I hated that. And visualization is the way to trigger memory. You know, this project for me is a way for me to bridge that gap and remember everything that I've done. Even just this 1 second that allows me to remember everything else that I did that one day. It's difficult sometimes to take that 1 second. On a good day, I'll have maybe 3 or 4 seconds that I really want to choose, but I'll just have to narrow it down to 1. But even narrowing it down to that 1 allows me to remember the other 3 anyway. It's also kind of a protest, personal protest against the culture we have now where people just are at concerts with their cell phones out, recording the whole concert, and they're disturbing you. They're not even enjoying the show. They're watching the concert through their cell phone. I hate that. I admittedly used to be that guy a little bit back in the day. And I've decided that the best way for me to still capture and keep a visual memory of my life and not be that person is to just record that 1 second that will allow me to trigger that memory of, yeah, that concert was amazing. I really loved that concert. And it just takes a quick second. I was on a 3-month road trip this summer. It was something that I've been dreaming about doing my whole life. Just driving around the US and Canada and just figuring out where to go the next day. And it was kind of outstanding. I actually ran out. I spent too much money on my road trip for the savings that I had to take my year off. So I went to Seattle and I spent some time with friends working on a really neat project. One of the reasons that I took my year off was to spend more time with my family. And this really tragic thing happened where my sister-in-law, her intestines suddenly strangled one day. And we took her to the emergency room. And she was in really bad shape. We almost lost her a couple of times. And I was there with, my brother every day. And it helped me realize something else during this project is that, recording that 1 second on a really bad day is extremely difficult. It's not, we tend to take our cameras out when we're doing awesome things or this party, let me take a picture. But we rarely do that when we're having a bad day and something horrible is happening. And I found that it's actually been very, very important to record even just that 1 second of a really bad moment. It really helps you appreciate the good times. It's not always a good day. So when you have a bad one, I think it's important to remember it just as much as it is important to remember the bad days. Now, one of the things that I do is I don't use any filters. I don't use anything I try to capture the moment as much as possible as the way that I saw it with my own eyes. I started a rule of first-person perspective. Early on, I think I had a couple of videos where I would, you see me in it, but I realized that wasn't the way to go. The way to really remember what I saw was to record it as I actually saw it. Now, a couple of things that I have in my head about this project are, wouldn't it be interesting if thousands of people were doing this? I turned 31 last week, which is there. I think it would be interesting to see what everyone did with a project like this. I think everyone would have a different interpretation of it. I think everyone would benefit from just having that 1 second to remember every day. Personally, I'm tired of forgetting, and And this is a really easy thing to do. I mean, we all have HD capable cameras in our pockets right now, most people in this room, I bet. And it's something that's, you know, I never want to forget another day that I've ever lived. And this is my way of doing that. And it'd be really interesting also to see if you could just type in like on a website like June 18th, 2018, and you would just see a stream of people's lives on that particular day from all over the world. And I don't know, I think this project has a lot of possibilities, and I encourage you all to record just a small snippet of your life every day so you can never forget it that day you lived. Thank you.
All right, just getting back. Give me a second here. I hope it doesn't start playing again for me, but here we go. Give me a second, class. Second. It's 1 to 2. Okay. Okay, here we go. Back to your class here. All right. So a lot. Oh gosh, again, it hated when this happens. System out, and it just takes me out in seconds. Oh. So a lot that we can talk about in terms of this, in terms of the speech that you heard, and what are a few things, and let me just stop sharing this and talk, and then I'll share. Okay, so a few things that you may want to think about is, was this informative or was this persuasive? Was this strictly informative or was this strictly persuasive? I mean, I felt, this is what I felt, is that like you will see in some other, you know, some other videos that you will be watching, is that pretty much the way he started talking about his whole project, okay, the whole experiment that he ran, was informative, because it was just like you've been reading about, you know, informative speech in your, I think it's chapter 18 in your online book that talks about informative speech, and you'll see that I've also attached you know, PowerPoint presentation on informative speeches. So you'll see that that this is providing you new information for sure, right? I mean, this is a new project. I personally have not heard about this kind of a project from anyone. So this is a new project that he is talking about. So his agenda is there, you know, to share his information, to share the information with you. The kind of strategies that he uses in his if you think about the strategies that he uses in his speech, the informative strategies that he uses description, right? He kind of tells you, he describes, how does it look? How does this look? So he says that, you know, and he describes it through a lot of visuals, is that every day he at least records 1 second of his life. So and he describes how it looks like. He says, you know, not every day did he record all good things, right? He talked about his sister-in-law's battle in the hospital, and he records even that 1 second, right? So there's a lot of description. He uses a lot of words, words that kind of creates imagination in our minds. So description is used. He uses definitely narration. You could see how the whole thing was his story, how he begins with how, you know, that how did he start thinking about this project, you know, that he took time off, and you know, he was leading this busy life, and then he realized that, you know, why not, you know, build a story, create the story in his life where he records 1 second of his life, and he talks about, you know, one of his colleagues, you know, and how he had a busy life then, how he took time off, he wanted to go on this road trip. So he kind of creates a story. So he uses narration, he uses storytelling, and this is what I want you to do. This is, as I mentioned to you, narration is the single most powerful way of delivering a message. Storytelling is one of the most powerful ways of delivering a message, especially because this is what Aristotle says, that all human beings are storytellers. We love to tell stories, and we love responding to stories. So I think, narration has been used, and please, I will encourage all of you to use narration in your when you're telling us your story of how your 2-week project went. All right. So I would like to hear your story. So create it as a narrative, as a story. We talked about description. We talked about narration. Definition was also used in some way, where he kind of defined the concept of he defines different concepts. He defined the concept of how he took this video. All right. It was, he said that I was initially doing filming it on myself, as in how I was feeling, and every second, and then he changed that, and he says that then I didn't want to do it in the first person sense. I wanted to show it to you as how I perceive things. So he was showing more of not himself, but he was showing things that he found helpful, or things that he found important enough to share in his videos. So it could be, going to a concert, it could be going to, visiting a sister-in-law in the hospital, it could be eating something new, that's how he wanted to show. So it wasn't done from the first person perspective, as in he wasn't showing how he's feeling, but what are the things that he is seeing. He filmed it that way. So there was defining and redefining how the first person perspective, the second person, the third person perspective. All right. So he was defining and redefining these concepts. So I think definition was not used as much, but I think description was used. Narrating was completely used. Demonstration demonstration is when you show how you do things. All right. So I think demonstration was also used in his speech, where he showed us, right, the whole thing about, how he did it, 1 second of his life. And, and I think this demonstration happened more through visuals that were coming in. It showed us, how he was filming it all together. He kind of said that he filmed it all together and then stitched it, right? So demonstration, definition, demonstration, narration, description. I think most of these strategies were used, but I think the most prominent one was his narration, his storytelling, and of course his description of every place, description of how he felt, what it made him feel. The words that he used were very descriptive, kind of created an imagery in our minds. Explanation as well. I think that was also a very, very big part of the speech, is when he explained why he did what he did. He just felt that time is fleeting. Time just passes by, and we really don't, it's like we blink and then like 2 years is gone, then 5 years, and it's just time, a decade goes away. So, and we really don't think about what we do in our lives, and like every day counts. We really don't think. So his explanation was that, if you think about this in this way, is if you document every day in your life, you want to document 1 second of that day in your life which you found is meaningful, all right, then you will realize the importance of every day, and you'll be able to see yourself, like it'll be like a mirror, where you see, these are the things that I did, these are the things that I could have done, these are the things that I missed, these are the things I did well, these are the things I didn't do well. This made me sad. Why did it make me sad? It's kind of like a journal that you create, right? So he kind of explained it. He did, and there was a big part. I felt that explanation was definitely there in his video. There was narration, storytelling. There was description, demonstration too. So I felt that he used a lot of informative strategies. Then now the next thing that you may think about is, well, was his speech really strictly informative or was it persuasive? If you go back to the speech and you rerun it, you'll see that at the end of his speech it was getting persuasive, right? So it was like he had an agenda. He not only wanted to talk to the audience about his cool little project that he was doing, but he can kind of also, he put in that in his speech intermittently. Is that how about 1,000 people do this? I encourage you to do this because this will just help you look back at your life. It will help you journal and it will help you to self-reflect on your lives. And he does that. So that he has an agenda, okay, at the end. But I think pretty much maybe 80%, or maybe I'll probably make it about, yeah, maybe 80% of his speech was informative because it was a very new information. His agenda was to give us new information about this. But at the end, I think it does become persuasive. Now, your question while you're watching me today here is that the project that you guys are going to do, the challenge that you're going to do for 2 weeks, will it be, is there a chance that it might get persuasive? Well, we don't operate out of thin air. So tomorrow, if let's say Amara, if let's say she does a challenge on thinking positive for 2 weeks, how she did it, what were the challenges that she faced, and what did it make her feel? How did she feel? Did it make any impact in her life? How did her co-workers or her family, did her family see any change in the behavior? What were some of the things that she did? What situations did she face? She does all of that. Okay, she tells us in the speech. I might, and this is informative speech, I might hear Amara and say that, I'm really going through a really difficult time right now. Maybe if I do what Amara is doing, I may feel better about myself. I may. Okay, but that's not her agenda. Her agenda is to kind of talk about the challenge that she took. Whether we are getting persuaded out of it or not, it depends. Okay, it depends upon the situation that you are in. Maybe there will be, you might just think that this is a cool idea, but you may not get persuaded. Okay, so that's not her agenda. Okay. So you'll see that there are lines between informative speech and persuasive speech, which kind of blur, which comes very close. Is it strictly informative? Oh, it's getting persuasive a little bit. So you will face this dilemma. I'm just going to tell you in this interview, you will face this dilemma. Persuasive speech, when we get into that, it comes from a very different place. All right, it's very need-based. You tap on the needs of the people, and then you create a speech, and then you kind of the psychology of the audience, you play with that, and you kind of there are different ways of persuading, okay, which we will do later. But this is, again, you'll see that a lot of speeches kind of blurs, okay, the lines seem to blur, and that's okay. That's okay. Because I might hear your speech and I might get persuaded to do something like that. If you think about any teaching session, or when I when I talk to you about, let's say I talk to you about a concept called localization, okay, so I just talk to you, but I use informative speech strategies, I use informative teaching strategies to teach you, okay, so that's going to be strictly informative, not really persuading you to do anything. But there will be some speeches that will be strictly informative. And you've got to think about this, and this is something that I always tell my students. When you're doing your informative speech, think of yourself as the expert on the topic. If you consider yourself an expert, you think about yourself then you will be able to teach the audience. You'll be able to inform the audience, and think about yourself as a teacher, the expert on the topic. Okay, and use strategies that best brings out your teaching skills, your informing skills, your teaching or informing skills. Okay, so I use that interchangeably, sometimes informing, teaching. I use it kind of interchangeably, but that's just me. All right. So yeah, so yeah, this is what I wanted to, and I kind of created an outline for this one, and I'll screen share that with you here. Here, so this is an outline that I created. You can take a look at this while you're reading this video. On this video, you can see that here, and I'll just put it here. 1 second, Nicholas. I just don't want to again do this. Okay, so. Okay, so if you, let's see, new share. Yeah, so if you look at this class, there was as you could see in the video, there was a lot that could be edited, that could be taken out to fit a 5-minute speech. For sure, you could have, there was a lot of details. So that's what I did. I actually edited it, and I tried to put it in like 663. It's still much. It's still, for a 5-minute speech, I need to be around at the most 600 words. Yeah, not more than that. So I still could have edited, but this is what I have done. Introduction. I just created an introduction here. This is what he said. This is what I put in the body of the speech, and this is what I put in the conclusion of the speech. Okay, so yeah. So when you are doing your speech, when you're writing your speech, it should be within 500 words at the most. And I mean, you can go on till 600. I don't care about the word limit, as in you'll know that if you're within that 500 to maybe 600 words at the most, then you will be able to fit it into a 5-minute speech. Okay. Other than that, if you're like way below the 500, then you have to fill in those minutes, which you will not. You need to increase your content. And if you have way more than 500 words, then you will have to figure out a way to cut your speech. So I think you'll be in good shape if you're between 500 and 550 words. Okay. So this is what I have done here. This is pretty basic. I looked at the speech, I got the transcript, and I just said that this was the introduction, this was the body of the speech. I took out a lot of things, and I could take out maybe another 100, 150 words as well. So here, I think, but this is a good amount of words for a 5-minute speech. So this is what I have here. All right. So by this time, you're able to see this on the video. And yeah, so I just wanted to share this with you. Hope this is going to be helpful for you. Stop share. Hope this is going to be helpful for you when you prepare and start writing your speech. Yeah, I don't think I need to add anything, should I? Again, I'm just going to your, here, 1 second. 1 second, class. I lost it again. 1 second. Yeah, I'm still here. 1 minute. Second here. Okay, so I'm going to quickly, just before I wrap up the speech, I mean wrap up my video here, I'm going to quickly show you, what you are going to do. So by this time, you would receive an email from me and with the announcement on discussion that week 3, we are all set with week 3. And I would like you to, after that, once you get into your class, this is what I'll ask you to do is I would this is your class, and I would like you to first go to week 1. Week 2 is all closed. We are now in week 3, so you're going to go to week 3 discussion 4. Click week 3 discussion 4. Click this. You get that link week 3, and then you will see 2 things from me. Here is your upcoming. This is the first video, and I'm going to post my YouTube link here. And you will see that I have asked you, please review the slide here, and tell and post what challenge you'll be taking up. Please post your response to 2 of your classmates right here in the discussion forum. Okay. So I also want to first please start your discussion close by telling me how you're doing, how are you, however you feel, good, bad, not feeling good, tired, grumpy, sad, happy, whatever you want to say, that this is how I feel, that's how. And what did you do on the weekend? Stayed home, chilled, relaxed, sleep, just watch Netflix, just Netflixed, whatever you want to say. This is what you did during the weekend. All right. So I would like to know that little part of your life. I told you what I did this last weekend. So then once you mention that, then tell me what challenge did you choose? Did you choose going green? Did you choose writing a journal every day? Whichever challenge. Tell me why you chose that challenge, and what the length of the questions. I'm not repeating that. All of these questions. Got to do that, and then post it. This needs to be posted. I will review this by Saturday, November 7th by 5 p.m. All right. I need to see this by 5 p.m. on Saturday, November 7th. That's it. I'm going to put a link for this whole video that will help you do this question. And then I will be getting into your the second discussion question, which will have another video. Hope everything is helpful for you. I'm working hard to respond to your questions, to make sure that you understand, you engage. I know that I cannot see you in person, so let's do everything that helps us overcome this lack of in-person contact. All right, I will see you soon. Thank you.